By the way, of Midland, Texas, June 11th, 2018. I'm going to make a short video. I want to call this one 22 seconds, and you're going to find out why. And I'm going to call that 22 seconds because basically on 5 weeks before the murder attempt, I was told that the police were creating a document trail on me. And I believe I found that document trail, and I believe it was done within 22 seconds. And that happened within an hour after I was shot. Also found some more what I call new information. It's new to me. I just ran across it today, and I keep finding stuff, here 6 years later, and I noticed something, and I'm gonna point that out to you. I'm gonna try to keep this real short and just focus on that part here. Let me turn the camera around, and that way we can just get started here. Okay, and basically I want to start 5 weeks before. Basically 5 weeks before the murder attempt, before my phone lines are cut and I'm shot inside my home, and that looks upside down to me. Does that look upside down to you? Oh, I guess not. Okay, I want to make sure it looked right. And so anyways, this is the police report for December 20th, 2011. I was still married. It was about a week and a half before I separated from this three-month marriage. And the police were called that night because there was, due to the break-ins to this home, and I thought my gun had been stolen by these criminals that were breaking in my home. And that ex-wife had called the police. I believe it was a setup because I didn't know she was friends with, she was childhood friends with Rosa Rodriguez and all that. And I think the whole thing was planned in advance, in retrospect. But basically, this is the police report for that night. So these two police officers, Blake Bush, Trent Sellers, come to my house, okay? And I'm surprised handcuffed in my living room, and I'm taken outside and put into a police car, okay? And then as they're putting me into the back seat of this police car, I see a bag of marijuana pot laying in the seat, okay? And so it's real obvious to me that I'm being framed, okay? And that's what's going on here, And so I'm making sure that, don't make sure I don't touch it, and that way I can go back and say, my fingerprints are not on it, it's not mine, them dirty cops did this, but nothing was ever said about the bag of pot, but I think it was there to threaten to frame me. And I'm, in retrospect, we need to look and see if they did frame the last homeowner right before he died, because I was told he was arrested for drugs, okay? And then you're gonna find out, and the reason I'm telling you this is because after they leave, basically, I'm in the car and they tell me, what's going on? I say, here my first burglary was 14 months earlier. I've called the police, Texas Rangers, the FBI. I've got this proof. Do you want to see the proof? No, they don't want to see the proof. And then they told, we better not be called over here again for this stuff. And so it's real obvious to me that, hey, we're going to frame you with these drugs if you call us again because somebody's breaking your house and stealing from you, okay? And what the stuff was these break-ins that I thought was connected to this trucking lane behind my house, sex trafficking, child sex trafficking, etc. Okay. So anyway, they leave. I come back in the house, and that ex-wife says, we're creating a document trail on you, okay? A document trail. I think I found that document trail, and now in retrospect we look at it, then and then I think we can say that they were planning my murder 5 weeks in advance. And there's nothing scarier than a gang of dirty cops that are murdering good citizens, Christians, in their homes so they can steal their property. And that looks like what's going on. And those 22 seconds I'm going to show you that's the document trail I found, and I'm going to show you that. So I'm going to turn the camera around. Right here. Okay. This police report, as I said, was the one for December 20th, 2011. Okay, and what I want you to look at here is, I noticed here on 1/28, that's the night I'm shot, at 11:31:05. Okay, 11:31:05, some police officer puts a reference to this report, police report number, which is 120109175, and it says gun or whatever. It's called an XREF, which means it's a cross-reference, so it's a comment, and it's time-stamped. Okay, so I called that at 10:42, and at 11:31, that reference was made on this police report from 5 weeks earlier, okay, by somebody. Okay, and what's important is the timestamps, because this was done on 3 different police reports. It was done on this one on the 20th. Okay, I'm gonna do the first one here. It was done on this one. You see it again. This one is at 11:30:43. Okay, so when I do the math on it, between the 43 second mark and the 05 second mark is 22 seconds. Okay, so in 22 seconds, this reference was made on 3 different police reports covering almost a year, because this was January 8, 2011. It was my second call for a felony burglary, and it was my first call when I heard somebody in the attic. Okay, and so whoever did that, of course, the same person did that one, and they did another one here, and I'm going to show you that one. This is the 3rd one. Okay, this one was done in August 3rd, 2011. Another police report. Here's the number. I didn't know it was even done. This was done by the daughter of the ex-wife. Called the police while I'm at work, I guess. But the thing we want to point out is minutes after I'm shot, less than an hour after I'm shot, at 11:30:54, an XREF to that police report number I told you, and then gun. Okay, I believe that is the document trail in 22 seconds. The only way you could do that is if you pre-planned it, and I was told 5 weeks in advance they're creating a document trail on me. Now, and you have to know my phone lines. The reason I crawled out is because my phone lines were cut. So they cut my phone lines, shot me from point blank range. And then we seen on the video as I'm crawling out, I scream for help. They turn the lights off in the car. They're listening to me scream, waiting for me to die. And then we see the first 2 secret police show up. Now we're finding out that the first one was Martin County Sheriff John Woodward, wasn't he, from Midland County, followed by a late Sheriff Deputy Mike Naylor. And so 22 seconds, folks, this document trail was created. More than that, on this, I gave you that police report number. There was no incident report given to me for January 28, 2012. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's not. I don't know, because I don't have it. But what I do know is that we got a subpoena to subpoena all police records before the protective order hearing on December 18, 2013. My attorney did that, and the judge signed off, and the police gave us the records, and they left that one out. And I bet it's this one. And I got a feeling that report contains information that will clear my name, and maybe even send some of these, might even show that some of these police officers are conspiring together to murder Christians in their homes so they can steal their home and their property and their life insurance. Okay, and so we need to find that out. 22 seconds. I wanted to show you that. Okay, there's also here, I'm going to flip it back around, a information report. This is an internal report. The only reason I got it was because of that subpoena, okay? And I seen where it started by a guy named Matthew Davis, okay? And here's the reported date at 1/28/12 at 10:48. I'm seen crawling out at 10:42. I drive this 7-Eleven, say I need help, and that's probably the time that the call come in. And that was probably in this number right here, in the 9175 police report number that I never got a copy of. I've never seen this, because as far as I know, there is no police incident report for 1/28/12, because it wasn't given to us, even though we subpoenaed all the records. Okay, and so Matt Davis here, he's at 862 information report. Remember, this is internal report. That's not one we were supposed to see. Okay, he approved his own report on 1:30 at 12:42 at midnight on 1:30, and that was right around the same time. And so he checked 2 things in his evidence, and we're going to see this is page 1 of the original. This is the start, and this is the report number for the information report, 120-128-041. Okay, he checked in a pistol and a rifle, 22 pistol and a rifle, and then some other key ring and a miscellaneous hole, etc. Okay, what I want to take you here to is the nurse's notes at the hospital. These are timestamped. The nurse was documenting, the ER nurse was documenting what I was saying, etc. And one thing I said was, I have proof, just go look, there is proof, okay? And it documented Detective Rodriguez being in my home, okay? And that's very important, because that was this burglar alarm, or that was documented on a voice recorder that I was using, okay? Here it is. Voice in closet. There is a voice recorder in closet. Okay. And also I said there's sirens going off, alarms going off. Detective Rosie Rodriguez, who's the childhood friend of the ex-wife, she has a whole different story. She said Buddy stated he was going to lock up the door leading from the kitchen into the garage when his gun fell and it went off. The shotgun accidentally fired and shot his right ankle. Buddy said his phone was not charged, so he went outside and screamed for help. She made that up. That's a lie. What Buddy said was the burglar alarms going off. Buddy said he was under a home invasion. Buddy had his gun because he was under a home invasion. And Buddy wasn't even shot with his gun. The evidence shows that. And I also said there's proof, and that proof is now stolen. That's why I showed you that, okay? Because I'm going to go down back to this information report that I showed you there that Matt Davis created, page 2. This is the new information I just found, okay? And what you're going to see here, a couple things I'll just point out on page 2 of the original document. One, I thought this was real interesting. You know, I've always been considered Caucasian, even though I have a card, and I'm I think 3/32 American Indian Chickasaw, but you know, not of Hispanic origin, American Indian, Alaskan. That was real strange. It was almost racist, you know, I thought, and probably done on purpose. I think that was probably done on purpose. And we also see Rosa Rodriguez impounded my truck. And see there, that's where I'm the one saying Rosa met me at the 7-Eleven, and then she lied on the police report and said she wasn't there. And then April Chandler said that she was the one that met me at the 7-Eleven. They both got together and lied. But the thing is, Rosa is the one impounded my truck, and that was part of their lies right there. And they had to come back and try to cover up this lie, because the fact was Rosa met me, the childhood friend of the ex-wife, met me at the 7-Eleven minutes after I crawled out. Okay, so she impounded my truck. But here's what I wanted to show you. I just found was at 1:29:12 at 4:17 a.m. Okay, my .22 rifle and pistol was checked into evidence. Now remember, or we hadn't even seen it yet. April Chandler states that she found my .22 rifle and my .22 pistol, and that she checks them into evidence, okay? And I'm going to show you that. That's right here. It says, Buddy had a .22 rifle in the bedroom by the bed that was taken for safekeeping and logged into MPD evidence, as well as a single-shot revolver and a video recorder from the closet. Okay, notice what was missing in the list was the voice recorder. Okay, so between April Chandler and Matt Davis, the voice recorder that I said was proof of this capital attempted murder was stolen. Okay, and when we look at the incident report, no police are listed at my home until February 1st, and this was all on January 29th, a few hours after I'm shot. Okay, and so I'm gonna go back over there where I was at, and I'm gonna show you that time step again. This was checked into evidence. When we go back and we look at the police incident report for January 29th, 2012, no police are in my house. The security camera pictures showed they were. And they have been what was called the secret police for a long time, right? It took 6 years to get them identified. And even though we figured out who a few of them were, but there was 2 pieces of evidence checked in that morning. So that shows they were in my house. They were searching, just like I said. And here they had this evidence. But what is missing from this list is the voice recorder. So either Matt Davis and or April Chandler stole the voice recorder, which was proof of a capital attempted murder. Okay. One other little item here. April Chandler at the hospital fills out emergency detention form 1103. And when we look back at her own narrative right here, okay, she said she was dispatched to the 7-Eleven at 22:49. Okay, that's 10:49 on January 28, 2012. And then she climbed in my truck and started giving me first aid. Now, remember I said she didn't do that. That was a lie. It was that was done by Rosa Rodriguez, but they both lied. But then look at the timestamp at 10:49, then 11:03. She's magically all the way across town at the hospital, and y'all know how far it is from Midland and Wadley over to the hospital. And then she gets there at the 7-Eleven, gets in my truck, gives me first aid, waits for the ambulance, and all of a sudden she's magically across town filling out a detention form. That shows you that she lied, and it shows you Rosa Rodriguez also lied. And then once again, I've said this before, Mr. Webb showed paranoid to the extent that she scribbled something out, caused himself to suffer a gunshot wound to the ankle. Okay, it looks like what she's going to write, that he shot himself. That's S-H-O, and she scribbled that out. Now, why would she scribble that out? Because she knows I did not shoot myself. And that's why she changed her phrasing to say he caused himself to suffer a gunshot wound to the ankle. And I've said that before. What it looks like is that I unknowingly trapped a burglar in a felony at my home, and this was probably the paranoia, and then she was blaming somebody else, the burglars, shooting me, okay, because they got trapped in a burglary, in a felony, okay, because I was shot during the commission of a felony, a burglary of habitation. I've been reporting them felonies for over a year, and so I wanted to show you that. Very important here, I separated from that ex-wife around the 29th or 30th of December, right after the police were here, and my life insurance booklets were taken from my home by her without my knowledge. They were brought back about a week before I was shot, okay, with filled out divorce papers, okay? And then my sister-in-law told me she saw them in this period, in this 3 or 4 week period, that they were gone from my home, okay? Some people have said that the reason they're brought back so I would have possession of them when I died by accident, okay? Accident on purpose, okay? And what these papers or what these books tells the reader, okay, is that an accidental death adds 2 times the annual base pay, so there's around $200,000, and then a supplemental accidental death is another $250,000. So about another $500,000 added on to the home and the 401k and the other assets, altogether about $1.5 million. But you added a $500,000 if the secret police would rule my murder an accident. And to put that another way, if her childhood friend Rosa Rodriguez would sneak into my house, steal evidence, and rule my murder an accident, then it'd add another $500,000. Or you know, once again, we want to go back to Matt Davis, because it looks like Matt Davis possibly is the one that stole the evidence, because he was a sergeant and April Chandler was a rookie at the time, okay? And so I looked it up on the internet. This is LinkedIn, okay? And here's Matt Davis. It shows Sergeant Detective, City of Midland, 12 years, 5 months, and he quits December 2013. Quits without retiring. Okay, that was the same month as the protective order hearing. Okay, and it shows where he works now or used to work or whatever. Okay, there's some information that come out in that protective order hearing that might have caused him to quit. Okay, like this: the boyfriend of the ex-wife, Arthur Welch, he asked me. He says he told me he was dating her, and tells me she threatened to have him killed, right? And then thinks that she had a lot to do with the shooting from the things she said. Okay, so this document was submitted in court as evidence during the same month that Matt Davis quit the police force, okay, in December 2013, okay? And so I went there and looked him up on the internet. We get a picture of him, so in case, you know, somebody's driving by my house or whatever, got some more pictures. You know, here, very rude, you know, top person for sure. There's no doubt about that. And but then it got real surprising when I looked at his friends, because all of a sudden we got 4 mutual friends, and look at all these. These are friends of friends of friends. I mean, so many I can't even count, you know. I remember this person here from Big Springs sent me a friend request and was on my Facebook for a long time, and then finally got rude and ended up getting blocked or whatever. And you know, she was a friend of Matt Davis all along. I didn't know that, you know. Scott Capps, lots of people in Hobbs know him. And what I've said before, that 99% of my Hobbs friends never share my story. You know, here I grew up there, you know, and you know, and that's my hometown. People I've known all my life, and here my life is being threatened. I mean, I was hunted like an animal and shot and left for dead in my own home. I'm asking people to share the story, and they're not sharing it. It's like they know something, you know, like people in my hometown know something. So Matt Davis, and then the other thing I'd already said, that 2 of the other secret police that had links back to Hobbs are dead. Chad Simpson murdered Sandra Simpson. They're both from Hobbs, and they're dead. And then 2 months before that, Mike Naylor, his wife was from Hobbs, and he died supposedly in the line of duty. So you see the many links back to Hobbs, New Mexico. And so then I got them named here: Michael Glick, Mark Gillingham, Greg Nelson, April Chandler, Tony Dickey, Marty Barrett. That's the crime scene investigator. That's a big deal. If your crime scene investigator is tampering with evidence, that could overturn hundreds of cases right here. Okay, and he was the supervisor of the crime scene department. You know, people could be in prison for murder and they get let out because this guy sneaks into houses and tampers with evidence. Okay, Rosa Rodriguez, detectives, Sergeant Greg Chatwell. This is the bomb squad guy, and here's Chad Simpson. He's a known murderer. And then once again, Mike Naylor and John Woodward. First one to show up was a sheriff from a different county, and you know, I think he was married to Devin Sanchez, a CBS 7, a News West 9 reporter back then, now a CBS 7 reporter. And so anyway, 22 seconds, folks.